The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sherapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered! You covered! 12 covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sherapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
I can actually say this, and it actually applies to most of you. Good morning. How are you? Welcome into a very early edition of the Bostonian versus the Book. If you guys are watching on Sports Grid, listening on Sirius XM, there's no change to you guys, but the live show, we're early today. We got some business. Dave's got to take care of some stuff, so we're up live. Dave Sherapan, Matt Perrault, Alex Kane, Matt Lindeman, loaded show for a Wednesday, and we're well watching later today. Dave, how are you on this Wednesday?
Good. It's that time. We are 1 day and 1 week away from the start of NFL football, but we got college football this weekend. We got college football tomorrow.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, big day, big games. Our guy Z's coming to town. I just got a text. He'll be here.
I was going to ask about him.
He's flying in. He's
okay.
He's doing some big things. He's making some plans, and he'll be here to sign up for the contest, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, man, it's busy. And, right off the top, and we've got two guests today, both guys, one guy on the East Coast, one guy on the West Coast, both were able to move up times to accommodate our schedule. You got class today, first real class today.
Kind of. I'll behind the curtain. So UNLV is building me a new classroom. So it's going to be this gigantic, huge sports room that I'm going to be teaching my class out of. So that's not done yet. So
you're in a temporary.
No, I'm in a room that they want me to be in half the time, and the other half the time be in what's called the production, the podcast room.
Okay.
But they're putting in all TVs, they're putting in all audio visual, they're doing all of this stuff. And so I walked in on Monday and I was like, oh, we're like a month away for this being done. Yeah. So I have to kind of recalibrate how I'm going to teach the class for the first couple of weeks, because normally we would be doing more on mic work. So now it's going to be more out of the classroom work. So I don't know if today's the first real day, but it's going to be definitely, it's not like we're not going over the syllabus. We're going to start actually teaching and talking and doing stuff.
I think I'm going to come every other Wednesday and just observe.
Every other Wednesday?
If not every Wednesday, I'll come every other Wednesday, depending on the schedule. I'm going to find out what I'm doing the rest of the time, but
hold on to that. Hold that thought, because I think I was approached on Monday about, remember the idea I had for something for you and me to do at UNLV?
Yes.
I was approached for it.
Perfect. All right.
And I didn't bring it up. They brought it up to me. And I said, really? I said, I go, I may have something for you. They're like, okay, put it together and then let's have a conversation. I was like, okay, perfect. That could be interesting. So there may be things for us to be able to do. So lots of good things coming on the show today. Like we mentioned, Alex Kane will stop by here in about 20 minutes. We'll do some whale watching with him. There's some big stuff happening with Sport Trade for their app for the NFL football season. So we'll get to that.
He teased an announcement that's not happening today, but there's an announcement coming with Sport Trade that we'll let Alex kind of direct and talk about. It's not going to be this week.
Yeah.
The announcement. It's probably going to be next week, maybe. But do you think Alex will have a hat on today when he comes on?
No.
Probably not. Okay.
No. All right. He asks us to wear the hats. He's got so much hair that I wouldn't cover it up either.
I tell him that every time I see him. Last time I saw him, I run my finger through it. Come here. I had to reach up on a stepladder and get it. I was like,
he is tall. He's a 6'3".
6'4".
He's 6'4"?
6'4". Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he's tall. So we got him coming on, and then Matt Lindeman will come on talking college football. I got a bunch of questions about Kentucky. Got a bunch of questions about his Kentucky Wildcats.
Apparently, Matt Lindeman has a question for you.
Oh.
Yeah. Just be ready. So
I'm excited. This is good. Is
Yeah.
it college football related or no?
Listen, Professor, you talk. That's what you do.
Yeah.
I ain't prepping you for nothing. Just saying he got a question for Matt Peralt.
Oh, good. Okay. That's good. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. Okay, nice. Because I want to know about his Kentucky Wildcats. Because we'll do the SEC today, but a lot of people are saying the SEC sleeper is Kentucky. So we'll see where we go with that and whether or not his Wildcats can actually make some noise. Had a big loss in the bowl game that people were like, how did you blow that game? But Clemson was big in that game. So we'll see what happens for this year for Kentucky. So Matty Lindeman will join us in a little bit. Reminder on the Big Ten Survivor, guys. The deadline is Saturday, August the 31st to enter into our Big Ten Survivor contest with Splash Sports. The website is splashsports.com/BVB. $100 per entry, 5 maximum to get into this. It is a 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern time deadline. There are Big Ten games being played tomorrow. So if you want to be a part of this and pick that team that will play tomorrow, Carolina, Minnesota, Friday games, Saturday games, Sunday games, all involving the Big Ten. So if you want to use one of those teams, you may want to get into it like right now.
Right now.
Our Big Ten Survivor, splashsports.com/BVB.
And listen, email them if you're having problems signing in. And then if you can't, get in our Discord and email or text us, email us, and we'll see what we can do. We got Bonvi had a problem. We got in touch with the right people. We got it fixed, and he got in.
Good.
You have to confirm who you're in, whatever. There's a lot of stuff happening, but get in this thing because it's unique, it's fun, and it's a lot of people that watch and listen to the show.
Yeah. And it's going to be show content. I mean, we're going to be doing it. We're going to be having conversations about what's going on. I think tonight is the drive I'm making to Arizona to go down there and sign up. So I got some time this afternoon. And now that we're doing this so early, I can really get down there to Arizona and get signed up. So, and have that and be a part of it with you guys. So looking forward to that Survivor. I think I'm eligible to win this thing, right? Can I win it? Am I allowed to win it?
I think so.
How's the brigade feel about that? If one of us win it, we win our own contest. Is that like kosher? Is it allowed?
I mean, the picks are there public for everybody to see. It's not like we can fix the contest.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right there.
It's all right there. So get into it. If you guys need the website, once again, it's very easy. Go to splashsports.com/BVB to enter. Okay. Like I mentioned, we got about 20 minutes to go before we get to Alex, and then we'll get to Matty Lindeman on their side. We got a bunch of games to break down and things to talk about Major League Baseball wise. We'll start with what happened last night. And we'll start with the Diamondbacks having their win streak be snapped. The Mets win the game 8-3. The pitching change did not do me any favors with the Diamondbacks in that game. But the Mets are now 3 games back of the Braves for the final wild card spot. When you see what's happening with the NL West and how most people, including me, assume it's Dodgers, Padres, and the D-backs are going to be in the playoffs. If you're the Braves, how concerned are you with the Mets?
Well, you're very concerned. The Mets are rolling, man. I said it to somebody last night. I said, I feel like the Braves are hanging on.
I agree.
While the Mets are getting that August late charge push that you just see and go, the Mets are going to make the playoffs, aren't they? The Mets are going to make the playoffs. I don't know. So I got a couple notes here. Let's see, where is it? Hold on, I got it right here. Braves now have won 11 of their last 15. Starters have allowed 3 earned runs or fewer in each of their last 15 games. It's starting pitching for the Braves and again, sometimes that's boring, and sometimes that's covering up for offensive inefficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets, I mean, Lindor's down to single digits to win the MVP. Like, it's legit happening. Get on his back. Let's go. We're going to the playoffs. They're doing it with offense. I don't know if that gets them to the finish line.
I mean,
race, though.
Manaea struck out 11 yesterday.
Woo!
He was tremendous.
Yeah.
They're 69-63. The Mets have 2 more games left with Arizona. Then they play 3 against Chicago, home for the Red Sox for 3, the Reds for 3, the Blue Jays on the road. They don't play a playoff team until the 13th of September. They can make some serious noise right now and put a ton of pressure on the Braves if they get hot right now.
The Mets?
Yeah.
What's the next? They finish in Arizona and go where?
Chicago White Sox on the road.
Okay.
Red Sox at home. Reds at home. Blue Jays on the road.
There you go. I mean, that's 3-3. It's
12 games that they could go 10-2 in.
How many more games against the Braves do they have?
None.
They're done playing each other?
Yep.
Wow.
The only team they play. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Wrong. Sorry. Second to last series at Atlanta.
Okay.
Sorry. I didn't scroll down far enough. At Atlanta.
Three games?
3 games. They end the year on the road at Atlanta and at Milwaukee. That's not easy. Their last from September. Now I say that about how easy the schedule is for the beginning of September. The end of September is really hard. They're at Philly for 3, home for Washington, home for Philly for 4, at Atlanta for 3, and at Milwaukee for 3.
Oh, so they're gonna. I mean, they're gonna determine their own fate.
Pretty much.
They determine their own fate.
But if they do enough damage up top here in the White Sox, Red Sox, Reds, Blue Jays 12-game stretch.
Yeah, they can get it set up pretty good.
They can get themselves into a place where the Braves are clawing at them and the Braves are going up and going, we got to catch them now.
Right.
And it changes the dynamic. It changes the way people play.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know. It's going to be a hell of a lot closer than anybody would have thought. Let's see. I have it also here. This is a really good one. I got some stuff from MLB Network. Here you go. On the morning of May 30th, the Mets were 22-33. The Diamondbacks were 25-30, both under 500, and 2 of the more disappointing teams in MLB. Since that 4-game set, start of June 3rd, when they played, the Diamondbacks have posted the best record in Major League Baseball at 48-25, while the Mets have posted the 3rd best record at 45-28.
45-28. Hello.
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
I don't know. Are we convinced that all 3 NL West teams are in?
I am.
Pretty much, right? Yeah.
I mean, I am. Just based upon the offense and the pitching for both the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Be hard to see them cool off that dramatically.
Padres too. Padres are just the path is going to determine everything because 2 of those teams are going to play in the first round.
Whew.
Or if they don't play in the first round, they play in the second. So they can't all. I don't think there can be a way where 2 NL West teams can be in the NLCS. But if there can be, I think that's the bet. If Arizona ends up on one side and Dodgers and San Diego on the other, and they, you can put those in the combos like to lock up. I don't know. Alex was on a couple weeks ago worried about the Phillies and stuff, and they're playing better.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good series against Houston. That was a gift yesterday.
Yep.
Cheap price on the Phillies. And even talking about the Brewers.
Yeah, I mean, Phillies have a 6-game lead. They have a 6-game lead in the loss column on the Braves. They have a 9-game lead in the loss column on the Mets. Phillies are winning the division. They've won 4 games in a row now. They have a plus 120 run differential. That's the best in the National League. Only 9 runs behind the Yankees for the best run differential in all of baseball. They have been very good at home. They're 44-23 at home this season. The 44 wins is the most wins in the National League at home. And what's the most wins in Major League Baseball? They're the most wins at home anybody in baseball. So getting the 1 seed would be imperative for them, and they're tied with the Dodgers for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Get that home field advantage of the entire National League playoffs, and that's a big deal for the Phillies. They'll be a tough out.
No question. That's good. JC from KC just came in the chat. We'll swing it over to the American League a little bit. If you really want to poop your pants, we're trying to keep it clean just a little bit today. I don't want to hear any. I don't want anybody getting any emails. We're trying to make Will's job easy, get this episode done and gone. But on this day last year, the Royals were 50 games below 500, and they are 17 games above 500 today and tied for first in the American League Central.
It's pretty good. Mariners, Tigers are 2 ships passing in the night. They're both 67 and 66.
Mm-hmm.
Both are 5.5 games back.
Yep.
Now, the Red Sox stand a half a game ahead of both these teams, but I think we're all in agreement that the Red Sox are done. They're signing Rich Hill today. The Red Sox are. 44-year-old Rich Hill will pitch for the Red Sox this season.
Oh, my goodness.
His 13th team in Major League Baseball to throw. He's 44. I'm 47. Okay? That's how bad things are in Boston right now.
Didn't he pitch for the Red Sox before?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. But 13th different team he will pitch for in Major League Baseball. The record's 14.
I can't imagine how that call goes. Hey, Rich.
We need help.
We got a couple starts coming down the stretch here in September. We're trying to make the playoffs, or we just need innings. Can you come back?
Well, he was at AAA. He was at Worcester, so they had him in the system.
Oh, he was okay.
Yeah, they signed him, but he was trying to pitch, and they think he looks good, and they're like, "Hey, he looks good. Let's roll with him. Let's see what he can do." So,
awesome.
Yeah, so he's coming in. But can the Tigers make the playoffs?
I love the 3-1-3, and a lot of people, Detroit Lions, are really very high on them. We did the show yesterday.
They've won 5 in a row, 8-2 over their last 10. They've got a very favorable schedule.
Don't do it. You're going to give these people hope. You're going to give.
They play the Angels for 2 more.
Yep.
Then they play the Red Sox for 3.
Yep.
Then they go to San Diego, which is not easy, but they play Oakland for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado at home for 3.
Okay.
And they end with the Orioles, at the Royals, at the Orioles, home for Tampa, and they end with the White Sox at home.
Okay.
Like we talked about, the Tigers have a chance to give the White Sox the worst record in the history of baseball.
Let's not besmirch our Tiger friends, our Detroit people, our Michigan guys and girls in the chat. If you're here, represent. The Tigers did let the kids play, and now they're winning. Crazy that they are doing it
with a
mess of a rotation currently. Yes.
It'd be kind of nice to still have Flaherty.
Yeah. Good call, Chair JPC
fair.
the fourth.
It's fair.
Check. Yeah, it would be nice if they had Flaherty. I'd feel much better about it if they had Flaherty. I don't know. They ain't gonna go away. They're going to they may just run out of.
I think all 3 miss. I think all 3 are missing the playoffs.
Tigers, Mariners, and Red Sox.
I think we have the American League playoff set.
Royals are in.
Yep. But it's Guardians or Royals, one of the two. They're both in.
Guardians are leaking some oil. They're caught. They're actually not in first place by themselves now.
They have won just three games in their last 10. 3 straight losses for the Guardians. And they've got the Royals for 1 more today. 1:10 Eastern time start.
Take a moment of silence today for the start of a new era. O'Neal Cruz is playing center field for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's not playing shortstop. They showed him catching fly balls before the game. I just looked over at the screen. Skeens is underway. Cubs, Pirates, first inning. We'll keep an eye on that. Ask the chat. We got some people here. Some people don't know we started. Subscribe to the channel. That way you know you get an alert that we started. Do the Tigers or the Mariners make the playoffs? Yes or no? Either or.
No.
Either or. I don't think either one does.
No.
Mariners definitely not.
Yeah, I think Mariners.
I mean, but they can win it. They can get in winning the division. Tigers aren't winning the division. The Tigers' only way in is through the wild card. So the Mariners can actually catch the Astros with a bit of a meltdown, a little bit from the Astros. They're not that far ahead. Mariners catch some steam next 10 days.
Not the Guardians, Stevie. Can't say the Guardians right now. The Orioles and the Guardians are both. I mean, it pains me to say it, but I think the most dangerous team right now is the Yankees.
To win it all?
I know, in the American League. I still can't get around the Astros. I still can't get around them right now. I don't know if I buy it. I don't know if it's hot. They've had a good couple of months, but come the playoffs, does that lineup hit in the playoffs?
I mean, it's 3 games if they got to play that first series.
Just like pitching wise, I don't know. I mean, they've lost back-to-back games to the Phillies. They lost 2 of 4 to the Orioles. I mean,
if the Mariners are going to make the playoffs, it's right now. All right. They got a 10-game road trip against the Angels, A's, and Cardinals.
Right.
That's their next 10 days. We'll know by September 8th if the Mariners are going to make it or not. They have to go 7-3 or better on that 10-game roadie. It's a lot to ask, but it's Angels, A's, and Cardinals. Come on.
Interesting to see the slugging percentages for some of these players for the Astros.
What?
Alvarez. Well, Alvarez is great, but Bregman is only 444. Altuve is 442. It's good, but it's, this team used to really mash the baseball. They're 70-62 though. I mean, so I just wonder when the Yankees are fully healthy, when you have Stanton, Soto, and Judge, all they need is a little pitching.
Yeah.
Just a little. And it's like, whoa. I mean, the Yankees with Mike Stanton in the lineup, they're like 18 games over 500.
Yep. But there's a lot of swing and miss in there.
There is.
There's a lot of swing and miss in there. Uh-oh. First freeze. First time in days with Matt frozen. He's back. Snap your fingers. All right, there you go.
That's fair. Cortez can't be the only one pitching. I'll give you that. That's true. That's
Good
true.
to see you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson in the chat. I don't know. I watched almost the entire Orioles-Dodgers game last night, and a couple takeaways. The Orioles, when they get a quality start, oh boy, they're going to be tough.
But
yeah. So Burns is going tonight.
Okay.
I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be a really good baseball game. Burns and Buehler, and it's a pick'em. I mean, it's a pick'em. 8.5's the total. Now, the home plate umpire yesterday made a perfect case for why we need help calling balls and strikes from a robot or eagle's eye, hawk's eye, somebody's eye. I mean, the catcher was literally like when we were in 8U and 10U, we would tell the catcher to frame a pitch, and they would go like this and reach over and just bring it back.
Yeah.
And the ump would go, strike. And we're like, oh, my God, what is he doing? What?
Right.
The kid can't even reach in the other box and hit that. This was a major league game, and the catchers were both reaching outside in the other box and bringing it back, and he was calling strikes.
Okay.
So it was 3-2. It was a deceptively under game. But tonight with Burns and Buehler, I expect another under. I can't wait to watch it. I said, geez, if the Orioles, they can win this thing. And I'm back in. I'm back in that the Orioles can win it. I am. In the American League, I think they can win it. Like a month ago, I was like, nah, can't do it.
I hope I'm wrong, but I keep on coming back to the damn Yankees.
Come on.
I mean, Aaron Judge is just doing – Aaron Judge –
it's great for the regular season.
Maybe, or maybe he goes crazy in the playoffs.
He don't see a strike in the whole first series.
Okay, then if Soto or Stanton go off, then you got big problems.
Well, you're going to put it on them. It's one of those guys is going to have to do that because Judge is not beating me in the playoffs.
Okay.
There's no way. I'll pitch to him with nobody on, maybe. But if there's runners on, I'll figure out a way to walk him. I don't want to pitch to him. I'll make him chase a bad pitch. So
fair. Yeah, fair. All right, we'll get to some more baseball later on the show. Alex is going to join us here in a couple of seconds. We can do this first. We can do the Circa Sports Pro Football Team of the Day. We'll break up the Circa Sports and Brigade Proxy Team and Story of the Day. The San Francisco 49ers are the Circa Sports Team of the Day. You guys know this is countdown time. We're 10 days away from the start of the contests as we roll here for Circa, and looking forward to seeing the millions. We got a lot of people coming into town. It's going to be tons of fun. We got people from Nebraska coming in, people from the Midwest coming in, people from the East Coast coming in.
Yeah,
we got a lot of cool things going on here, and people that, what's fun is that a lot of the regulars that we were expecting to see haven't come to town yet. So I'm like, oh yeah, we got that guy. Oh yeah, we got that guy. There's all these different people who are reaching out saying, guys, I'm coming in. Guys, I'm going to be here. I'm coming back in. So it's gonna be a really fun time. Millions is becoming an interesting story. We are seeing more and more people sign up for Circa Millions because I think they're looking at the numbers for Survivor and going, whoa, there's a lot of people in Survivor. Maybe an easier path to go to Circa Million. Both are $1,000 to enter. You must be in person to register for either contest. The deadline is Saturday, September the 7th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. You must be in, not in line. You must be in to qualify for the contest, because 4 p.m. Pacific is the deadline for your first set of picks to be entered into for Circa Million and Circa Survivor for week 1 of the NFL. Team of the day, the 49ers. Win total is set at 11.5. It's minus 150 to the under. Not an alt number there at Circa Sports. They don't want to go to 12 for whatever reason, Dave, or 11 for whatever reason. You can do the alternative numbers, which is 12.5 and 10.5.
Yeah.
But the number is 11.5.
Yeah. Because they offer the alts, they can't really move this. Because they offer the alts all on a half.
Yeah.
Which is, I'll say it. It's like artwork when you leave it on the halves and you just have the numbers up and just move the juice. It's fine. You don't need to go on a whole number and then create a push. They're creating their own middles. It's not always the best.
Right.
But you're taking bets. When you go through the schedule, though, P-Roll.
Well, the question is, can they avoid the hangover that every team in the Super Bowl tends to have?
No.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. Well, you know the stat. Everybody knows the stat, right? The team that makes the Super Bowl and loses doesn't make the playoffs the next year, right?
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
They open with the Jets. Monday night, all eyes. Can Aaron Rodgers go back to the Bay Area and beat the 49ers?
Why not? He can, but the schedule is what's worse? What? He goes there and wins, or he goes there and loses?
I think he's expected. I think he's expected to go there and lose, but it's how they perform. If they look like they play like crap, that's not going to work.
Right.
They have the Jets, the Vikings on the road. I think they open up 2-0, and their first real questionable game is on the road at the Rams in week 3.
Jets, Minnesota at the Rams. They always beat the Rams, though.
I would agree. So that's a 3-0 start. Patriots 4-0. Arizona 5-0. And then things get interesting. At Seattle on Thursday night. Home for the Chiefs on Sunday afternoon. And then home for the Cowboys on Sunday night before their bye.
First 4 game spreads. Jets -6. At Minnesota, they're -7. Yep. At the Rams, they're -3.5. And home for the Patriots, they're -12. Then the Cardinals -9.5. At Seattle, they're -5. They lose that game outright?
Potentially. I think that they have a good shot at getting to their bye week with 1 or 2 losses. It's 8 games.
Kansas City and Dallas.
6-2.
Both at home?
Yep. 6-2, 7-1.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7-1? 7-1?
6-2 at worst, right?
Yeah.
Then they go at Tampa, after the bye, cross-country trek.
-6.
They come back for Seattle before they go to Green Bay and to Buffalo.
-9, -2.5, -1.5. Are they favored in every game? They are favored in every game.
Well, they should be.
Every single game, they're favored?
Then Chicago and the Rams at home on Sunday and Thursday night. And they end at Miami, home for Detroit, and at Arizona. I mean, they're going to lose 5 games max. They're 13-4, 12-5. And yet everybody is saying hammer the under because the numbers will lead you to believe that the books think the under 11.5 is the play, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, you have to protect against the under when you put up the season win number as the book. When it's that high. Because the average person's going to bet over. But the guys that are going to show up like on Sport Trade and come with a bag, and you're talking about taking bags and, small condo type limits, you have to protect against the under. So, because you don't want to end up flipped on the wrong side. So that's why this number is what it is. I don't know.
And Ayuk is a huge question, CBW. You're right. Is Ayuk on the team or not? I'm not sure it matters in the regular season, to be honest. But
it definitely matters.
Just more Debo. Give me more Debo. All right, we'll pick that topic up on the other side because I don't want to make Alex waiting for too long. He's been
he has been waiting this whole time?
Not this whole time, but he popped in during the conversation. Okay. But he's been kind enough to hang out with us here on this Whale Watch Wednesday here for us here for BVB. Coming in, he is in the car, so it's very kind of him to join us. Alex Kane, Whale Watch Wednesday. What's up, dude? Thank you for coming on. Thank you for accommodating Dave's schedule and coming on early today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Can you guys hear me?
Clear as a bell.
So So for those that are watching, there's a little green room. So Matt and Dave are able to see me when I'm off screen, and what they just saw is I was so enthralled by what you guys were saying. I'm like squinting in on the screen like that to see who San Francisco plays, and Matt's going team by team, and you hear Dave go -6, -3. They're favored in every game. So that was awesome content. I actually picked up a couple things.
Good.
Did you guys do season wins?
I think we're going to try today or tomorrow to put some season wins up.
God, I'm turning on the tracker.
We have Super Bowl conference division miss playoffs for now.
Okay.
And I think we're going to add season win total and try and do it like, each week. Obviously it'll update. We might have to move the line and things like that. So yeah.
How's the make miss playoffs market been?
Decent start. Like we still get so much MLB right now. I'm still waiting for players to switch over to NFL and to college football. But 11.5 unders -150. So you're sort of saying take the over at plus money, Matt. That's the case you just built, right?
I think, only because the Niners play in a division that they generally dominate. So how good will Seattle be? They might be a little improved, but 5-1 in the division kind of is a decent number to go with San Francisco. And so then you go after that, you start looking at the games they've got in prime time and the games that they've got at home. I think we'll know a lot after the Jet game, how focused are they going to be? Because the hangover, everyone's betting the hangover, that you lose the Super Bowl the following year, you're not normally very good.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Not sure I agree with that team, to be honest.
Yeah. What about the Eagles? Alex, you came on here and you were worried about the Phillies, and ever since you kind of said you were worried about the Phillies are just fine. Told you to relax. Everything's going to be okay. But you're listed the WIP probably in the car right now before us and everything. Where are you at with the Eagles, Alex?
So Eagles, I'm still in Phillies mode, and I'm going to be in Phillies mode until hopefully late October, if not early November, and then I'll start to worry about the Eagles. I saw the roster was just set. I think James Bradbury was the last guy in for the Eagles, and tenuous relationship with the Philadelphia fans there. Saw some very funny memes on the internet. So I don't know too much about the Eagles right now. I know that they're probably going to win 10 or 11 games. I'd say the season was probably in that range. I'm in Phillies mode, man. I mean, I'm in total Phillies mode.
Are you? Is the car you're in? Is that a glass roof that you have?
So the story behind this car is I bought it in 2020. David Huffman also bought a car in 2020. He calls that car the DraftKings Mobile.
Okay.
Because this was when all the sports books were giving away free money. And guys like Dave Sherapan knew it was stupid, but they did it anyhow. And some of these books, give you the same bonus when you go to different states. And so basically put the down payment on this car and paid for the vast majority of it with the kindness of some of these sports books and by the way, I never really did. I mean, I did some of the casino and same game parlay stuff to sort of give it back to them and not appear like a total greedy asshole. But it's not like I was showing tendencies of being a huge gambler. I think it was just like the gold rush of let's get customers and let's suffocate everybody else. And I think a couple of people out there, I'm certainly not the only one, said, wait a minute, $1,000 risk-free here, $1,000 risk-free there. And these are apps that are in 10 states and they're giving, you have to create a new account. It doesn't take long. I think Bloomberg wrote an article about this in 2021. And I think that was the beginning of the end of these books. Like, oh wait, maybe we shouldn't do that.
So D Huff figured out to go around and get a bunch of different things and promos and then bought a car. We're calling this the D Huff promo car. I love this.
I taught D Huff how to do this match betting stuff.
Oh,
I ripped a huge piece of Tyvek, that Tyvek shit, the anti-inflammatory stuff that you stick on your roof. Yeah. So I was working on an interior and we were putting up all the stuff and there's this Tyvek laying around. So I rip a bunch of off and I'm writing it all down with a pen. And D Huff takes the whole thing, folds it up into his arm and takes it in his car and comes back a day later. He goes, I get it. I'm ready to do it. Like I gave him the blueprint. Yeah, he ended up doing it more than me. He drove cross country. He did all these states. He did, this is before Ohio was like legal. This is like Indiana and Michigan and Colorado. And, some of these books guys were giving away, Sports Illustrated was giving away a $7,500 risk-free bet for like 2 weeks. To anyone.
Documented all of this.
I mean,
right? It was a documentary, right? It really was.
A movie.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, you think about it, right? If you give someone $7,500 and you say, okay, what if they're not, because it's anybody, okay, not the average gambler, it's anybody, not VIPs. How much money do you have to have? Do you have to write, Dave? Think about this for you to make back the $7,500. If you're going to hold 4% on somebody, you need 25x 7,500. Like, think about how much someone would.
One person. That's one person. Like, to get that money back, you got to do that 1,000 times. Which is why when their quarterly reports come out or the stock reports come, it's continually we lost a number with a big M after it or a B in some cases. They can't come back from that, Alex.
Yeah, it's tough. But, the story for why I'm in the car right now is I'm on here, the Atlantic City Expressway.
Oh, beautiful.
I just put it on Twitter. We have 2 billboards right smack dab on the Atlantic City Expressway, a mile out from AC. This is going to be a big year for us, obviously, with what we're doing with you guys through the rest of the year. We're going to be doing something with VSiN that starts on September 3rd. We're really starting to push and put this out there. Not the $7,500 free money for everybody.
No,
we don't do that. But we do a cashback offer, and it's real cash. It's not promo, playthrough, or any of that. You place a bet, you get 10% of it back in cash in your account. You can withdraw, do whatever you want with it. It's not $7,500, but it's something. So we're trying to figure out how to introduce this brand to now much larger people. And I got to give you a shout out, Matt. Two or three guys that I've known for 15 years said, hey, Matt Peralt said you're coming to Arizona. And I'm like, wow, This is so awesome to hear from someone that, are they, someone that was really plugged into the industry? No, like this is the following you guys have that are just like sports fans. And sort of this guy likes playing a lot of blackjack. So I'm sure he likes sports betting as well. He may be listening to the show. Steve, if you're listening, what's up?
Hey.
So I really appreciate
look at that. That's tremendous. I'm pulling Dave, ask me a question. I'm pulling the billboard right now so we can put it on the screen.
So back in the day, down in Curacao, we did the 10% back offer. So if a guy would deposit $1,000, you get $1,100 put in your account. You can do whatever you want with it. Well, if you use that as the juice, you're actually not laying juice when you wager. And that is what bettors appreciated. You don't have to give away free money. Save them a little something here on the front end, and they'll come play. That's the ultimate goal. Talking about playing. What is it looking like? What did D Huff and Jack and everybody, what are you guys coming up with here for football season? Because we got college football coming up this weekend. And NFL's next week. I know you're in baseball mode, and so am I. I love baseball, bro. But we got to give the people a little something. What's on deck here for college football, Alex?
So college football, we have every FBS game. I think the line should be the -108'sville world, which is good. If we get closer to game time, those could get better. For NFL, we have same thing right now for next week's games. I think it will go down to -106, maybe -105.
Whoa,
closer to game time. Limits. It'll start to look a little bit like MLB looks as you get closer to game time, which is exciting. And then I think today. We've got Jack, we've got Huff, we've got another brilliant man on our team. His name's Davis Weir. I don't know if he might be too busy working right now to watch this, but someone's clip later. Maybe he is the wizard that makes everything on the app sort of present to you in an elegant way. So he's got all these props. I think we're going to try to do today and tomorrow: catching, receiving, passing, rushing.
Oh boy!
Anytime touchdown score.
Oh boy!
Like, there's some of the stuff that's on the list. I'm like, do people really bet this?
Yes. You'll find out. You'll find out. No, you'll find out. No, but that's
we'll
okay.
Out.
Put it up.
Yeah. That's great. All right. So there is the billboard on the expressway. The expressway to -104 lines by Sport Trade. It looks tremendous. I know you shot a whole video of it. That's just a freeze frame for the video, but that's super cool for you guys to have that. And then I want to ask about the golf for you, because I bet these last night, and these prices are tremendous. You guys have for the Tour Championship coming up here today with golf. You have 10-cent lines, $2,500 limits for the Tour Championship coming up this weekend. How is golf going? And this is the last big one before the real silly season begins. What are your expectations for the handle coming up here for this weekend?
Handle's been pretty solid. The outrights is a bit wonky because Scotty Scheffler starts, I think, at -10, and
correct.
So it's really only 2 or 3 guys that have a real chance. But let's be honest, it's the only 2 or 3 guys who've been winning tournaments the whole year. When you think about Xander and Hideki and Scotty, right, and Rory, I think those are your top 4 guys. And listen, they've won 10 tournaments this year, something crazy like that. Which has been really awesome. By the way, for those listening, you're looking at the 2 creative directors that approved this billboard in real time when we were eating lunch together 2 weeks ago in Vegas. I showed one and you're like, nah, and I showed you guys this one. You're like, yes. Yeah. And then we have another one heading out of Atlantic City that's more the same. So it's about layering. We're doing this, we're doing radio, we're starting to layer in, and we're trying to get those players that say, wow, -104 lines. That's something that could be interesting.
Yeah, I thought, like, I'm driving down the road and you glance on up to it. I want it to be simple, quick, and get my brain thinking and going, oh, -104. I just laid -115. What do you mean? They're -104? Like, that's like an internal conversation people are going to have on the highway about you guys and going, what's Sport Trade? And all of a sudden you just start Googling it, or you go to the app store and try to figure it out. So I love that billboard. I think it's quick, it's right to the point, and it talks to gamblers. If you don't know what -104 is, you may just look it up for the hell of it. Be like, what's -104? Like, oh, it's a sports book. So it just gets your attention really quickly on the highway.
Yep.
It works. What are your expectations for, well, let me phrase it this way. The chat wants to know if you guys will ever do what we talked about yesterday, because there are now mythical matchups going on at certain books where I can take 2 teams that are not playing against each other and have them mythically play against each other and actually have a line in total attached to it. Will Sport Trade ever do that?
I think we could try it for one to see it. I actually thought about it because I saw you guys talk about it yesterday, and I was like, this is interesting. Like it has such an interesting dynamic because are there going to be in-play markets for that? Like one team is starting to
my God.
like so think about this for a second. You have a mythical matchup between two teams. They're both super high scoring teams. Let's say the total in both the games are like 63, right?
Yeah.
And one team's Oregon and the other team's whatever, Baylor. High scoring teams, right? And Oregon's up 14-0. The opening line was like Oregon minus 4.5 in this mythical matchup. And Oregon's up 14-0 in the second quarter. And you see that they've gone from minus 4.5 to minus 1.5. You're like, wait a minute. They've scored 2 touchdowns. But wait a minute. They're not playing this team. They're playing this other team who also has a high team total. So I guess they're just not scoring quick enough. Yeah. Like, is FanDuel going to do this in play? Because that's where it get crazy. Like, how do you
can parlay it, Alex? You can parlay these bets. You can't tease them yet, but you can parlay them at least.
This sounds like an all bad idea. Alex, we're going to have a talk. I'll fly in. We'll have a sit down at the meeting. We're not doing in play on mythical matchups, please. That's only going to confuse everybody. Nobody's going to know what to make the line first, and nobody's going to know what to bet second. And then we're just going to confuse the hell out of everybody. Let's keep it simple.
And I would say this, like, look, 90% of bettors, like, it's a tough thing. Everyone's talking about these player prop, it's minus 117, minus 120. And the reality to me is that, a player prop should have a wider market than the money line, right? Like, it makes no sense, like, because that's a very liquid market, and player props are
not.
If you take a fill, like you're making a line and you take on the fill on Kansas City -3, that's a really important indicator for you to know where to move the money line. Like, these are all really connected. If you take a bet in, like, a receiver's passing attempts or targets, like, that's not exactly correlated with other things for that player.
No.
So the tough thing is, like, to me, you should be in that minus 112-ish range for props, but you should be in the minus 105 range, at least on game day, for some of these really high profile liquid games. And it's just sort of -1. So it creates a weird, it's interesting the way that the market perceives it. It's like, wait, I'm not paying minus 117 for this. And it's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't pay minus 117. But at the same time, like, it should be a little bit more than the main line, because the main line has so much price. Like, everyone knows the Chiefs are laying 3. Like, everyone knows it, or whatever it ends up, 2.5. For some of this stuff, like, is it 56.5 or 62.5 for a player's rushing yards? Like, those are like wildly different numbers, and there are sharp players out there, Dave, and they're going to come in and they're going to rattle the board around, and so you're sort of protecting against that. It's tough. Player props are tough.
They'll find it, and that's a good point to make. And I say it all the time on the show. Like, you can't apply one all-encompassing statement to this business. There are things that are priced differently. 100%. Props should be more expensive. That's just, it's a different market. You don't have the liquidity, and you don't have the options to move numbers as much, and you have to move juice. So you're 100% right. Circle it back to baseball. We talked about the National League a little bit and what's going on. Who's winning the American League? We can't decide here, and Matt's starting to come to the Yankee side. The evil empire. The show's called Bostonian versus the Book, and he said it earlier, Alex, that the Yankees, he can't get it out of his head. I can't get it out of my head. You have a beautiful head of hair. Who's winning the American League right now? I'm not holding you to.
Yeah, I think it's either the Yankees. What's the Twins record?
The Twins.
They're making oil.
They're right there as far as making the wild card.
Yeah,
right.
And they're a couple games back of. Actually, Cleveland and Kansas City are tied.
Yeah.
Cleveland Guardians and the Kansas City Royals are tied for the division, the American League Central. The Twins are a couple games back. They're all 3 going to make the playoffs as of the season ending right now.
Correct. The Royals are really good. They beat this guy DeWitt is the real deal.
Bobby Witt Jr. is
Witt.
He's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable. I do think it's the Yankees. But
no. What are we doing?
I mean, Aaron Judge is actually having, like, just an insane
historical.
He doesn't slump. Like, go back to Phillies for a second. Bryce Harper,
Oh,
right? He'll have 60, 70 at bats and not have a home run. You know,
Yep.
Look, Dave, he's got that out of the way. September's next week. October's the month after that. We've got the slump out of the way. I think that, what's interesting is the Phillies have the Dodgers number right now.
yes, they do.
The Phillies have the Dodgers number. So it's like, who is it going to be in the NL? And I still think the Braves are an insanely dangerous team. Like, their record doesn't show it, but you only have to win. They're going to play a 3-game series, right? They're going to be in the wild card. Then they're going to play a 5-game series. There's not a team in the MLB that the Braves can't logistically win 3 out of 5 or 2 out of 3.
Is there a bigger home field advantage in baseball than the Phillies? We were talking about it earlier. Matt has the numbers. It's the best place to play for a home team, right?
Most wins.
Dave, if I can land tickets, and this is no guarantee, and it works, you've got to come. It's Red October, baby.
We're working on it too. If I can get tickets, I'm bringing the big redhead, D Huff, Anthony, whoever wants to come. We'll try to get the whole thing lined up, be a little sport trade content, and enjoy the Phillies game in the postseason. I'm working,
and you'll get a bunch of I guarantee you guys are getting to the point where if you walk and you have the Phillies garb up, dressed to the nines with the perfect hat, there's gonna be people as you're walking to the stadium. They're like, I know that guy, which is awesome. Boom.
All right. In terms of what you guys are looking forward to, we have an announcement obviously coming up in the very near future.
Right
but
now.
Yep.
Do you ever perceive the time, because this is an offshore thing that's gigantic, but we're heading into, and I'm not asking this from a political standpoint, but it's one of those markets that everyone talks about this time of the year. Do you think we will ever be able to bet on a presidential election in America?
Yes, I do. You can do it right now on Predict It. The limits are very low, $850 per user. It's operating under what's called a CFTC no action. So CFTC is the Futures Trading Commission. They oversee this stuff. The Democrats in Congress right now are asking the CFTC to basically outright ban some of these contracts like election markets.
Okay.
The industry responded about 3 weeks ago, 99-1. The industry, which is stakeholders, exchanges, what are called DCMs, designated contract marketplaces, DCOs, which clear these future contracts, market makers, institutional investors, individual investors, academic institutions, all said this would be a horrible idea. We need to allow markets to tell us. You open up, when you want to see the value of your home, you put it on the market and you understand where is the activity. You don't say, well, this one person says my home is worth X. It's so much more valuable to get a market-based reality of what something's worth. And so the industry pushed back and said 99-1, no, CFTC, you should not outright ban this. Let's come up with a set of rules that allows a platform like a Kalshi, which is federally regulated, to list this. Because look at what Polymarket's doing. I put a tweet out about this a week ago. Polymarket has Trump at like -108 and Kamala at +107.8. Like, when you get that much liquidity, you don't need a book anymore. Like, you honestly can have a crap ton of these retail individual investors plus a few institutional folks tighten up the spread. And like, can you imagine if an NFL money line was -100.2, -100.2? Like, that's the level of liquidity we're seeing in these election markets. And it's awesome, and it's transparency, and it allows us to see it. And it's the great thing about marketplaces. It's not Dave's price, Matt. It's not your price. It's not my price. It's everyone's opinion boiled down into a single price. And America deserves to see that. And if we say no to that, we still have sports books in Canada listing it. Yep. We have Betfair listing it in the United Kingdom.
Yep.
We have offshore venues like Polymarket still doing it. Why would you prohibit the people that stand to benefit the most from the information, the American electorate, from being able to participate in a market like that? That is absolutely insane. So I hope that the CFTC says, no, we should not outlaw these. We should create a set of rules. And maybe there's limits, right? Because there's insider trading and all that. Let's be honest. Do something reasonable so that that the American electorate can be a part of this. That's my hope. It's not going to happen overnight. It's certainly not going to happen for this election, but Predict It is out there. It's my favorite app to use come November. And you can bet on all these sort of things, states and political power and the electoral college. You can bet on, The Dems twin by 6 to 35, 35 to 50, 50 to 70, so on and so forth. So you can rest assured I got positions across the board already.
Last question for me. Is that better than mythical matchups?
That's better than mythical matchups. Let's be honest. Like who doesn't want to see? I mean, and this is not a political statement at all, but this debate's going to happen. And if I could speak to both Harris and Trump, I would say the same thing. The person that says less is going to win this debate. The person that says less is going to win this debate.
There you have it.
Unfortunately, I don't think either are going to heed that mythical advice.
No, they're not. Alex, thank you for the time. Looking forward to next week and the announcement you guys will make next week for Sport Trade. Congrats on the billboard in New Jersey. That's awesome. We're going to have brigade members take pictures of it and send us in and go ahead and post it on the show. So thank you for being here. Drive safe. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
That is the one and only Alex Kane joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Maddie, if you're there, turn your camera on. We got Lindeman in the green room, but his camera's on. There it is.
I went upstairs.
Oh, boy.
There it is. I was waiting.
Wow.
You're on.
What's good?
You've been sitting and waiting. The one and only Matt Lindeman from WinBet joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. How are you, first and foremost? And thank you for waiting. I know that was a long stretch for you.
Oh, it's all good. Today is the last day of hell, and we finally got college football tomorrow. So I'm good. I've been waiting for 3 months, man.
Yeah. You know what else you've been waiting for? I heard you have a question for Matt. Usually P-Ralt gets to ask questions of the guests, but Matt Lindeman at Lindy Train on the Twitter, one of my dear friends, you hit me up yesterday and said you have a question to ask P-Ralt. I said, come on the show and ask him directly. And you're like, damn, yeah, I'm on. Let's go.
I need my own version.
Lindeman, ask him the question you wanted to ask.
All right. Well, if Matt is such an old-fashioned expert and he knows all the manliest old fashions to drink in Las Vegas, I want to hear a top 5 list. I want to hear where I should go in Las Vegas. I've become quite an old-fashioned fan myself. I like to stop at a few of the steakhouses around the strip, get my steps in and stop and have a drink. So I want to hear where I need to go to have a good old-fashioned in Las Vegas.
You have to go to the laundry room first and foremost.
Okay.
Have you ever gone there?
No, where is that?
Okay, so that's downtown. That's invitation. It's reservation only.
Oh boy.
It's in
That's very snooty.
Oh yeah. It's across from Therapy. I forget it's in a restaurant, but it's behind a wall.
A laundry room. That's next. What else?
Laundry room's one. Well, that's the number one. The Prohibition Bar is not bad. That's in what's that?
Prohibition Bar.
Mandalay Bay. Is that right? Yeah, it's a Mandalay Bay. That's a Prohibition Bar. That's not bad.
Snooties.
Echo and Rig has a really good. The bar downstairs, the one in Summerlin. I haven't been to the one in Henderson. I've only been to the one.
I've been there, Matty Lindeman. That's Lindy. That's a good one. You go there. It's very casual.
Casual, but it's a steakhouse with a butcher shop in the basement, so that's really a good place to go.
Nice, yeah.
Because you're from Kentucky originally, right?
Yes.
Are you a bourbon or are you a whiskey guy? Which one do you prefer?
You don't get to be a whiskey guy in Kentucky. You got to go bourbon.
Okay.
Yeah. So old fashioned's definitely right up my alley. Yeah.
It is, but like you can make it with two different types of obviously liquors. So a bourbon old fashioned and a whiskey old fashioned taste different, obviously. What's your whiskey of choice?
Whiskey. I don't drink whiskey. I really don't.
What's your bourbon of choice?
I would probably say I was on Woodford Reserve for a while. That was probably my favorite, but I had Basil Hayden's recently, and I was a huge fan of that. So usually one of the places I like stopping is Gallagher's in New York. They got a little bar that kind of is out in the casino floor almost. You can walk by the bar. You can really get one to go. And I'll stop there and get a maple old fashioned and sub out. I want to say they do Maker's Mark, which is fine, but it's not, top shelf. And so I sub out, get Basil Hayden's, which is delicious. That's definitely one of my favorite old fashions in town.
When you go, if you need someone to go with you to the laundry room, I'll go with you. They don't have anything that is for post prohibition. So it's all done. It's a true speakeasy. You can't speak loudly. You can't bring your phone. You can't have a party. It's actually drinking and talking quietly like the speakeasies used to be. But it's fun because they make the drinks actually how the drinks are supposed to be made. So not like they don't throw fruit and muddling crap and like just the nonsense that are all these drinks in Vegas that constantly be getting made. So do you prefer just a straight bourbon? Like, do you ever just go 2 fingers and that's it?
Not really. You know, honestly, like I prefer a little sweetness in my drink. Like I probably like some of the old fashions that you're saying that you don't enjoy. So
yeah, Elijah Craig. If I'm picking at home when I'm drinking, Elijah Craig is my bourbon of choice. Like that's what I've got 3 bottles of it in the house. Like that's what I drink.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned 2 fingers.
Never heard that.
No, I know exactly what that is. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was listening and wating.
Oh, they all
I heard it. I just wanted to bring it up. Go ahead.
Yes,
continue,
I'm a bougie drinker. This is very true. This would be an accurate description for me. But I mean, I'd love to drink with you because you're from Kentucky. I spend time in the South. I just never
drink with him. You need to hold on.
Why can't I drink with him?
No. The kid was a professional back in the day. He's slowed down a little bit.
He's from Kentucky. Of course,
missed more than a few morning shifts at CG due to my drinking.
We can admit to it now. It's all gone. They're not there anymore. We can admit to it now.
Statute of limitations is done.
Yep.
We're allowed to. All right. We're going to talk the SEC later, but I want to ask you about Kentucky because I'm hearing a lot of people in the South who are telling me that the team to talk about out of the SEC is going to be Kentucky. Do you agree?
All right. Well, I'm going to give you some very cliche answer here because it's very true for this Kentucky team. It is really all going to come down to the quarterback for them. They probably have the most talented wide receiving core they've had in Mark Stoops' tenure. They've got a really good guy coming back, Barry Brown, and then they got a transfer from North Texas, Macklin, who's supposed to be pretty good. So they have some receivers for once, which is usually not Kentucky's strong suit. And I want to say the defense returns 10 starters. They've got a guy on the defensive line, Walker, who you got to see a picture of this guy. They posted a picture last week, him standing next to Stoops. He makes Stoops look like a little kid. And Stoops is not a small guy by any stretch. So this guy's probably going to be the next Kentucky defensive player to be in the top 5, top 10 in the NFL draft. So they've got some dudes on defense. They've got some guys in the passing game, but it's going to come down to the quarterback. They've got a transfer from Georgia who lost a job last year to Carson Beck. And obviously he's really talented, but, he just doesn't have any game experience. So we're going to see if he can put it together. And if not, I think they got a guy from Rutgers as well who came in, has got a little bit more of a running ability. So if one of those 2 guys can figure it out, I think Kentucky goes over their win total. But if they don't, it's going to be a long season because they're not really going to be able to run the ball as well as they have in the past. And if nobody can get those receivers the ball, then the offense is going to have a tough time scoring.
Bigger surprise, Georgia doesn't make the playoff, loses 3 games, or Bama loses 3 games and doesn't make the playoff, because both have been uttered on this show prior to the season starting by Mr. SEC above me in that box, talking about they both questionable, going to have bad seasons. That'd be the first. I mean, college football is going to be messed up anyway. Maddie, it's going to look different. We know that.
When did I say Georgia was going to lose 3 games, by the way? I never said that.
Yeah, who said that?
I never said Georgia was going to miss. I said Bama was going to miss the playoffs. I didn't say Georgia was going to lose 3 games.
Okay, but
to be fair,
are they making the playoff? 1, 2. Is it possible that both of them don't make the playoff?
I don't think there's much question for Georgia. I think they're on a different level. I mean, that team loses 1 game, they're going to be playing like gangbusters the rest of the regular season. So I don't really see Georgia missing it unless, they suffer like a slew of pretty significant injuries. Bama definitely, from a mathematical standpoint, much better chance of missing the playoff. But I mean, you look at Kalen DeBoer, obviously he's not Nick Saban, but he's about as close as you can get to it in the college game at this point. I mean, everywhere he goes, he just wins instantly. So to give him those resources, that kind of talent, he gets Jalen Milroe back. I mean, you see what he did with Penix at both Indiana and Washington. I mean, he knows how to develop quarterbacks. So, you give him Milroe's got a ton of talent and then all the talent that's around him. I wouldn't be surprised if Bama is still right in the thick of things, at least for the next year or 2, while you've still got some of Saban's recruits. Obviously, once you get into year 3, year 4, DeBoer's recruiting is going to show a little more, and I don't think that's necessarily his strong suit. So he might not have as talented teams in a few years from now, but this year there's still plenty left over from the prior team and, guys they picked up in the portal. So I don't know what to think of Bama. I don't really have a strong opinion either way, but I think they're going to be able to score some points, and it's probably not going to be the defensive-minded, dominant, hard-nosed team that you're used to seeing from them.
Alabama's paying their general manager. That's his title, general manager, $900,000 a year for the next 3 years. What does that say about the future of college football when we have a, quote, general manager, meaning their job is to go out there and not just recruit, but get the kids paid?
Yeah, I think what we're going to see this year is we're going to see the first instance, I'm not exactly sure which team it's going to be, of a program really just buying their way in the NIL era to, relevancy. I think two teams that definitely have a good chance of that are Miami, who went out and, got Cam Ward and Damian Martinez, two really, high-profile transfers. And then Notre Dame, they went out and got some guys too. So those are two programs who have the resources. They have the fan base and the interest, but they just haven't been able to string it together in the last, couple decades. Now they can go out and spend that money in the offseason, pick up a few free agents and make themselves relevant again. So I think this will be the first year, whether it's one of those two teams or maybe Ole Miss, that we're going to see someone basically just buy their way into the playoff by going out and spending more money than their competitors in the offseason.
One team you didn't mention as far as spending the money was Penn State. Like, can you please tell me, do you think this is they open up to 12 teams, that they're going to let maybe more than one, maybe two, maybe three, not four, Big Ten teams in this thing? Maddie, any hope? Can we get to the playoff, Penn State? Like, they're going to lose 2 games, 10-2. Is that enough to get in? They're not going to pay nobody no cash. Franklin still can't coach on game day. That hasn't changed. I know. Penn State, are you in? Out?
I think Penn State's one of the easier teams to read this year. I mean, you pretty consistently know what you're getting with Penn State. They return to quarterback. They return to running backs. Like, I think about what to expect with Penn State. I think they're going to get in. I think 10 wins looks, pretty likely for them as they seem to do pretty often. I think Penn State will probably be in the mix. I don't know if they can go and win more than one playoff game. I think if they host the first round game, they'll be a favorite in that game. But once we get to the semifinals, I don't know. They haven't really shown the ability to win those big games against elite teams.
Who wins West Virginia, Penn State? There's all types of money coming in here on the Mountaineers. It was 10.5. It's down to 8.5.
Careful.
Where are you in the game on Saturday?
Yeah, my number's higher. I think I made it 10.5, so I agree a little bit more with the opener. It's going to be nuts, but I don't think this is a situation like Penn State's not sleeping on West Virginia. West Virginia had a pretty good season last year. There's been a lot of chatter about Garrett Green, their quarterback, and if he's good or not. Neil Brown came out, defended him pretty aggressively in the media, which I thought was interesting. But Penn State is just solid, man. And when you've got a team that can run the ball and play defense, going on the road in a tough environment is not really that much of a problem for them. So, just let Aller manage the game. He doesn't need to do anything special, and they should be fine. So, yeah, I think they're like $4 or $5 favorites. I think Penn State will probably come out with the win. I don't know if I'd lay 8. Maybe if it got down to 7, I'd consider it. But
fair. That's the bottom. That ain't going below 7. You know
85, Hey, guys, 85% chance of rain Saturday night in Morgantown.
It's a noon game. 9 o'clock.
No, all day. 85% all day.
That's fine. Penn State likes to play in the rain.
How is it a noon game? Why is it a noon game?
Thunderstorm and rain in the forecast all day.
That's fine because Texas A&M's playing Notre Dame night, and there's all kind of other games. Saturday's going to be a really, really.
You're up against Clemson, Georgia.
Yeah, Clemson, Georgia. There's a bunch of games. What about the Big 12, Maddie? There is it's different. It looks different. A lot of buzz from a lot of the people we know, the same people that walk around, the bad guys, I like to call them, the rhombuses, the parallelograms, all the same names. They kind of just advancing the ball with Utah, saying, oh, Utah just going to win this conference, and then everybody else. But the everybody else is like a lot of teams. I think it's a little more wide open. Where do you stand on the Big 12?
This is what I would call a basketball conference. To have this many teams and not have a single elite team, Utah? It's kind of tragic. Utah is the Vegas preseason crowd's favorite team every year. Everyone loves Utah because you know what you're getting. You're getting 9-10 wins out of them. They're consistent. Obviously, they're well coached.
Win every home game.
Yeah, and they go from Pac-12, which was, soft conference with a lot of soft teams who didn't play that tough, to Big 12, which is probably the closest thing to it. So I understand the Utah love, but it is amazing how close. There's like 10 to 12 teams that you could argue if a few things break right, that they could be in the mix. So I have no idea what to expect from Big 12. You'd obviously give Utah a little bit of an edge. I think Kansas State's close behind them, but even they have a lot of question marks,
Yep.
So I don't even know where to start. Like, I really wouldn't be surprised if I don't know if they're going to get more than one team in the playoff, but I think there are 8 to 10 different teams who could get that spot. And I think it's a shame, by the way, that they're giving, I like it, but their ceiling is only so high and they return everybody. So you pretty much know what you're getting. I don't know if there's that much more room for them to improve, but I think it's a shame they're giving a bid to the ACC and the Big 12. They're both getting buys. I think that it should be the 4 best teams get the 4 buys in the playoff instead of, why are we giving ACC? Look at the ACC this year. If Florida State's going to be down, they're going to be right there with the Big 12 in terms of it's just not very top heavy at all. So why are we putting these 2 teams in the 3 and 4 slots in the playoff?
Do either one of those conferences get more than one team in right now, the way you look at it?
I don't think so. I think if ACC has a breakout team like Miami or NC State, then they could maybe contend for 2.
Okay.
I don't see the Big 12. I think Big 12 champ's probably going to have 3 losses. I don't see anyone else from the Big 12.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I guess what Utah's win total is what, 9.5 over?
Yep.
So 9 or 10. But those 2 conferences, man, there's a significant drop from SEC and Big 10 this year. So
let's flip it to the non-Power 5, the Group of 5. Here in Vegas, we've got a UNLV team. There's a lot of buzz around Barry Odom's club, but do you see anyone in the expanded 12-team playoff? Is there anybody not part of the Power 5 that you think could potentially win a game in the playoffs?
Win a game in the playoffs? I don't think so. I think the gap is growing. All of these really elite programs and the NIL transfer portal era, they've got as much talent as they've ever had. And a lot of them are taking from schools like Boise and Memphis and Texas State, these teams that are going to be trying to contend. I just don't see it. I think it's a really weak field or weak year for the G5 teams. And when you're talking about, I want to say Boise went 8-5 last year, and they're probably like the favorite right now to get that spot. Yeah, it's kind of a down year. So I don't know. I'd like to see them in Memphis get in, but I don't see either of those teams competing with what'll probably be the 5th best team in the country.
Notre Dame, where you at with Notre Dame? It's a tough game. They got out of the gate at Texas A&M, and they're another team that, like, the top conferences are all going to get a team, and then they're just kind of throwing Notre Dame's going to be there in the mix. I don't know if they're going to be there in the mix, Maddie. I'm not convinced, but this weekend, big game, and Notre Dame overall, what's the picture you're looking at?
I was really high on Notre Dame when I first started research in June. I thought that there was a lot to like. I love the coordinator hire. They went out and got Mike Denbrock, who's been their coordinator before, but he was just at LSU. He ran that offense with Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors, took that offense. They really skyrocketed in the 2 years that Neighbors and Daniels were there. So now he's coming to Notre Dame. He's got Riley Leonard coming in for Duke, who is going to get to play with quite a bit more talent than he got to play with in Durham, obviously. So I think there are some good pieces there that I don't really know about the skill positions. And losing that left tackle before the A&M game, I know everybody's been talking about it. That's a really tough place to go play without a left tackle, or experienced left tackle, I should say. So it's a really tough opener. I don't know. I think the move with Notre Dame is to bet them to make the playoff after a loss to A&M if you're going to do it. I think wait. This is a tough spot, as tough as it gets to open the season, but they'll be afforded another loss, and they have a pretty favorable schedule. So wait until they potentially lose to A&M and then try to target that playoff price. Because the committee and college football and all the money people, they want Notre Dame in that playoff.
Yeah.
So if you get a generous yes price at the right time, that's a right move in my opinion.
Maddie, it's a quarterback dominated sport. The Heisman is a quarterback dominated award. Ole Miss is the 3rd option for a national championship in the SEC, but if you look at where Ole Miss is and what Jackson Dart might be able to do from a numbers perspective, you mentioned how much money Ole Miss has gone out there and spent for Kiffin to build this team back up. Do you see any value in taking a flyer on Jackson Dart to win the Heisman?
Absolutely. I love Ole Miss this year relative to the market. I've been doing nothing but lowering them. I mean, I put them at a rating, which I know there's no context behind these ratings, but I made them an 89 to start, which is just unprecedented for Ole Miss. It's usually a program.
Equal to who?
89 is about where Penn State usually is, I would say.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, kind of in that second tier, a little bit behind, Texas and Georgia.
That's like top 10 in all of the college football, right?
Probably fifth or sixth. Yeah.
Right,
so
that's big. Yeah.
I think this team is stacked, and I think they're actually flying under the radar a little bit just because people still haven't been able to bring themselves to take Lane Kiffin seriously as a coach. I think they still see the social media, they see his comments and stuff, and I just don't think they view him yet as a coach who can go and win a national title. But I think this is a great opportunity for them. So yeah, if you're high in Ole Miss like I am, I mean, obviously a Jackson Dart ticket would make some sense.
Last question for me, sir. Actually, it's pretty important. Everybody in the chat. Well, there's two questions here. It's two-parter. Old Dominion. Do you have any thoughts about them? Because Old Dominion is a big part of the guys watching. And two, what is the name of your cat that keeps walking around in the background? Because this cat has the chat's interest, and they really want to know. They didn't see that Lindeman was a cat guy. I know you love that cat. What is that cat's name in Old Dominion? That's it.
There's another cat sitting right here too. That's probably Benny. I got Benny the day before Kentucky beat Florida for the first time in 30 years in my entire lifetime. So named him Benny after Benny Snell, who was a running back that year. And then I got Rafi right here, who's my other guy, big hairy cat. So yeah, I'm a huge cat guy. What was the other part of the question?
Old Dominion.
Old
Dominion.
I bet Old Dom regular season wins under, actually.
You're going to bet on him.
Yeah, I think the number's gone now. I bet under 5 minus 180. I want to say it's like 4.5 juice.
Sorry, Mikey.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It's 4.5 juiced under now.
All right.
Old Dom won like a lot of close games. They were pretty fortunate last year. I think they're going to regress some.
All right. So I was thinking during the interview about different places we can go. Me, you, and Dave have to go have dinner at Cleaver. We can have drinks at Cleaver. So that's
a good one.
I've been wanting to go to that place. I haven't been there yet.
So that's a winner.
Yeah, so Dave and I go there a lot. They've got a tremendous herbs and rye. It's harder to get into herbs and rye. It's the same menu, same bartender, same everything. So we can go to Cleaver for dinner and have old fashions and have a good time there. So we'll do that this football season. On the way out, Clemson, Georgia. I bet an alternative number for Clemson. I took 14.5 for Clemson against Georgia. I think Clemson, as long as Klubnik plays the same way he played over the last 5 games to end the year last year, and he takes a step forward, that Clemson can keep the game close. I think Georgia wins, but I think it's too many points if you get over the 14. Where are you on Clemson, Georgia?
My number's been 14 for months. The market's been 14 for months. Every time it goes to 13, it goes up. Every time it goes to 14.5, it goes back. So I think it's going to settle right there at 13.5, 14. I think that's the right number. If I got to look at this game, I'd probably go over. And the total's actually seen a lot of movement both ways. Looks like they're probably 2 sharp groups that are opposing each other. But I want to say my number for the total was like 52.5. And Clemson's looking like more of an over team this year. They're a little bit down on defense. I want to say they only have like 4 or 5 starters returning and maybe some questions in the secondary. I can't remember off the top of my head. But their offense brings just about everyone back. So they should be able to score some. And I think Georgia is probably going to be able to do quite a bit more than you would expect against Clemson. I think they'll pretty much be able to do whatever they want. So low total like that, I think I would lean over 48 in that game.
Good stuff. Matty, thank you. Enjoyed the start. First weekend, week 1. We'll catch up down the road, all right?
We're going to come, and we're going to put picks in on a Saturday for the proxy service, and then we're going to go to Lindeman's office. We're bringing lunch. Lunch is on us. We're going to hang out and watch football in the joint with Lindeman this fall. 100% that's happening, Matty.
Yeah.
All right,
deal? Let's do it.
Done.
Awesome. Good stuff, man.
We'll talk soon, right? Love you, brother.
All right, thank you, guys.
That's Matt Lindeman from WinBet joining us here on the Boston versus the Book. We go from interview to interview.
Rafi and Benny.
Flying around like crazy. Oh, there we go. That's actually in the right order. So we can do just like that. How about that? Good stuff with both Alex Kane and with Matt Lindeman
nice work
coming in. Good job rolling with all this stuff. We did a lot of the things that we were going to go through here, but before we get to anything else, we just have to, obviously, we can't go a show without this.
Son of them. That thing's getting louder every day.
Because the season's getting closer, so the thing gets louder. Brigade Proxy Service story of the day for pro football. We got a lot of stuff going on here today. We are going to be signing people up for the entire week in the next 10 days. We are 10 days away from the start of these football handicapping contests. If you would like to be a part of the brigade, 702-570-8255. We got people texting, emailing. You're all coming in. We're going to take care of all of you. But if you come to town and your time is whatever changing, this is the best way to get in touch with us. Dave's on the air a lot. I'm running around like crazy. 702-570-8255. We will return the text message very quickly to get you taken care of. Me, Dave, or both of us will come down and get you signed up.
Nighttime signups.
Either or. Yes, night times are better, obviously, for all of us. We have kids and work and shows and everything else. So that would be, the Chiefs signed Bailey Zappi. I didn't realize that. That's funny. Good for the Chiefs, to the practice squad. Yeah, I love Bailey Zappi. He's a good addition to them. 702-570-8255 to text us or go to our website, thebvbshow.com, to send us a note that you're coming on in. The Brigade Proxy Service NFL story of the day. The NFL's not happy with Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels' $10,000 bet that they made about being the offensive rookie of the year.
They made it with each other.
They did. And they had to go through extensive gambling seminars. You know how
Alex said, whoever talks less or says the least wins?
Yep.
You know what's going to happen now?
What?
You ain't ever going to say anything again about if you're making a bet. Why did they go on a podcast and say, we made a 10-dime bet?
To each other.
With each other. The education process. Okay, what does that mean? Did they make them watch like videos?
Yes, they had to go to seminars after seminars after seminars to have a conversation with multiple sessions involving NFL gambling rules. Both players had to go through.
Because
multiple education training sessions. It's like when you get a speeding ticket, right? And they make you sit there and take driving class, and you got to sit through that driving class over and over again. That's what it's like.
You ever have to do that? The way you drive, you guaranteed have to do that.
Yes, multiple times. Multiple times here.
Arizona. Oh, you did it in Nevada? Yeah.
2 times here in Nevada.
I did it in Arizona.
Oh, there you go. By the way, enjoy it. It's
Jay Glazer has announced, according to Nathan Phillips here in the chat,
Steeler
Russell
country.
Wilson.
Let's ride. Let's ride.
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Whatever. I hope they beat Atlanta. If they don't beat Atlanta, man, they're going to come in for pitchforks right away.
Right.
He doesn't play well.
Right. I don't know. I think it's funny. I mean, I think the whole thing is overblown. I think the whole thing is just an overreaction to everything that happened.
What, this gambling talk?
Yeah. That 2 guys can't make a bet against each other. Come on. Just make a play. Just make a bet. It's just for fun. But, everyone's so damn sensitive.
Well, no. I mean, it's for fun for them because they're millionaires. 10 dimes.
It's nothing for them.
To them is nothing. 10 dimes is a strap.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. I mean, anyone watching this show, anywhere, whether it's on the replay on Sports Grid at night, which, again, if you're watching, please tweet out if you have Twitter. Send an email to us if you're watching it on there. And if you're watching us live, we really appreciate it. If you're not watching us live, try to. And again, we messed up the start time. Mondays and Wednesdays, we're going to be a little bit earlier because
you mess up anything. Come on,
professor.
Just start early.
It's fine. We start a little bit early, but Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, roll call Friday, big shows. Anyhow, I think you have to just take it. I don't want to say it's overblown because of the amount, but is it overblown because of the amount, P-Roll?
Yes. Perception is reality.
Like if we made $100 bet on this,
nobody
would
they
have to go through the seminars and do all the
maybe. I mean, I don't know if they would be as aggressive, but I do think the NFL would take note and the NFL would slap their hand and say, don't do that again. So I do think there would be that. I think that there would be some blowback from the NFL saying that's not appropriate, guys. Don't make bets like that. because the rules, there are 6 different things you can't do in the NFL. Like you can't play fantasy football and you can't like
talk
about
shows with guys in the league playing fantasy football.
I know. I've said it from the get-go. I have no idea what the hell the league. The inconsistencies it's inconsistent. Everything about the league when it comes to their messaging, their branding, their partnerships. It's gambling, and then nope, no one can do gambling.
Well, I don't know if it, I don't know if you saw it. I tweeted it again at Sports BK and Sig. Matt's at Sports Talk Matt. Again, that's the best way a lot of times to interact with us on the social media. Private equity firms are going to be able to invest up to 10%.
31-1 the vote was.
These guys need the money.
Only the Bengals said no to that. 31-1.
They must need the money.
Yeah, they just want the money.
I mean, come on, bro.
It's easier, right?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Weren't they going to make all the money from the gambling?
Well, come on. Rich guys always want more money. So that's not, you don't need it. They just want it. They want it.
That's a bigger story than this bet.
Fair. Agreed. Especially because it could be international money. Okay. So where's the money coming from? So that's a bigger question as to like where's the money coming from?
KYC stands for Know Your Customer. KYPE, Know Your Private Equity.
Where it's coming from, right? We did a bunch of this already with Maddie, but we'll run through this first and then we'll get to Better to Book It. These are the top 5 things I'm looking forward to in college football. Number 5 is, how Arizona and Arizona State will fare in the Big 12. Are you in agreement with Maddie that the Big 12 is just not a good conference at all?
Can't figure it out. And that's why I wanted to ask him, because when you look at it, and he's been doing it, I know guys that are doing it. I didn't actually go through the process and do it yet. I'm probably going to do it this weekend, where you actually look and have a feeling for power ratings. They all look the same.
A lot of them, yeah.
Right?
It's Utah and everybody. I mean, for me, it's Utah and everybody else, but I think that primarily it's the same. Yeah, it's like 15 teams that are pretty much
it's
the same,
so,
other than
it's
Utah.
Really different. I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun, competitive storylines every week. Now, what does that mean as far as a national championship? They're not winning. Like they're probably getting one team in the way it's going to line up, and they're not going to win the national championship. That's just fact.
Yeah. Number 4, the 12-team playoff. Does this allow for new blood to contend for a national championship?
No. What do you think?
In year 1, no. In year 2 or 3, maybe.
It's only worried about year 1. We're worried about month to month here on the show. We're worried about 2024 as far as this new playoff college football.
So what? Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State?
I think we're going to have an SEC party, and there might be a Big Ten team or two to,
Oregon changes that though, because Oregon.
I don't know until I see it.
Okay.
Listen, I hope it's an even split. SEC teams, number of teams, and Big Ten number of teams. That'd be fun. But I think it's going to be them. It's old school, blue blood, whatever you want to call it, established programs. I don't know the words, but yes, I think they are going to be that. I don't think we're going to get some Liberty, something, whatever, Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, I don't think we make a run yet. I think eventually it does lead towards some Cinderella runs, but not in year 1. How will Kalen DeBoer fare at Alabama?
I will defer to you with this because it might be tough.
I've seen it. I've just seen. I mean, I could be wrong. Look, I mean, he has brought a staff that has won everywhere. He brought his whole staff. He's like, if I'm going to Bama, y'all coming with me. I ain't going down there by myself. You're all coming. So he brought everybody. He brought the general manager. He brought the ball boy. Like he brought everyone that had Washington playing deep into the playoffs and deep into it, having a chance to win it all last year. So that to me gives him a shot. But he's got Jalen Milroe as his quarterback. Sorry.
I can't wait to watch him. I mean, we literally watched, 90% of his snaps last year.
Yeah.
We would, we got the process. We get the
in that first game. I told you,
you get to hang out and watch college football for like 3 hours, sometimes 5, depending on what the kids were doing, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like I watched more Alabama football last year, just Alabama football, than I have in a decade. And I kept going to you. He can't make the throw. Like, I don't know if that hasn't changed, they're going to be in trouble.
I would agree. Can Oregon win the Big Ten?
Can they? Yes. Will they? No.
Can I swear?
Do it. We're almost done. Will's paying attention.
I don't want to say there's no fucking way, but it's close to no fucking way the Oregon Ducks are winning the Big Ten.
Quack,
you know
quack.
why? You know why?
Why?
Big Ten ain't going to let it happen.
Oh.
There is no way the Big Ten, if there is a questionable call, it's going against Oregon. If there is a questionable decision, it's going against Oregon. They're going to have the roughest ride in year number 1. The Big Ten is not going to allow a Pac-12 school to step into their conference. And after all the besmirching the Big Ten fans and Big Ten administrators and coaches have done about the weak-ass, soft, candy-ass Pac-12, that a Pac-12 team is coming to the Big Ten to beat everyone in the Big Ten and win the Big Ten title in year number 1? Oh, man, I can't see it. I just can't see it. I can't wait to watch. This is why it's number 2. I can't wait to watch. What will the Big Ten do to screw Oregon? Save this clip. When we come back in November, we're like, can you believe that call went against Oregon? I'm going to go, I told you. I told you.
Bookmark it.
I told you.
Bookmark it. I
Big
don't know
Ten.
if they're going to have that kind of influence, but I
remember that the Big Ten, the reason why we never had a college football playoff to begin with was because of the Big Ten. These people believe they invented the sport, because they kind of did. And so they want to have all control, and they're not going to allow a team from the Pacific Northwest to step up and win them in year 1, to beat Ohio State, to beat Michigan. Oh, no.
Wow.
Can't see it happening. Can't see it happening. Can't wait. And then number 1, I can't wait to watch the 2-minute timeout, because in the NFL, we all know this, the second half is always the higher scoring second half because of the number of timeouts and how long it takes to complete a football game from the 3-minute mark to the end of the game.
Long time.
Does college football follow suit here? Because the college football game, everyone was tracking the Florida State Georgia Tech game, saying it was much faster than normal. How does this extra timeout change the end of games? And how do coaches? Because so far, Mike Norvell 0 for 1.
I don't know yet. We'll wait and see. I don't know. It's an interesting take that you think it's gonna have that much big of an impact?
I do. In the NFL, I mean, how often do we see it? When do you take your timeouts? Before the 2-minute warning, after the 2-minute warning? How do you get the ball back? How long can you get into possession? Because in college football, the clock stops at the first down. So that's such a big key to, you have so much stoppage in the last 2 minutes of a game. There are so many stoppages for college football now. With this 2-minute, they're calling it the 2-minute timeout, not the 2-minute warning. Yeah. How over under? I mean, Clown MB3, 40, 50. I mean, it's going to take a lot of time for these old crusty guys to get used to it. Because I guarantee you, Norvell was like, oh, right, shoot. Like you'd see the wheels turning in his head.
Right.
Like we have that timeout. These quality control guys are going to need to be in all the coaches' ears, telling them what to do and how to do it, because it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle
about the Penn State sideline. It's probably going to be botched at least once.
Poor James Franklin. Into better or book it, because I know you got to run here. I am going with the
right
under.
On time. This is perfect.
Under 51.5. West
Really?
Virginia, Penn State.
Really?
Weather.
Yep.
Run the ball. I
Yep.
don't believe West Virginia wants to get into a shootout with Penn State. I think Penn State wants to run the football and not have Drew Aller being hung out to dry in what's going to be a bonkers environment. Pat and the boys are showing up on Friday. I got people telling me, DMing me saying, Matt, Morgantown, they're already up. They're already going crazy. Get ready for what's going to be one of the crazier atmospheres for the entire weekend. It's must-see TV. Penn State's walking into a buzzsaw.
I know. We got business.
Dog in the under.
Saturday. Otherwise, I'm still holding out hope that I'll be there. But
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to the game. I don't know. I might end up in Morgantown on Friday morning and be back Friday night. We'll see. I don't know. Crazy things are being discussed.
Okay.
You like under, huh? I think you can wait. I think it's going up. You don't have to bet it under yet. It's going up to 52. So Makes sense.
You think it's going up?
The weather. Yeah. Yep.
It hasn't moved. Number hasn't moved.
I know.
51 solid across the board.
Well, it's painted 51.5, but
sorry, 51.5 meaning. It opened it. It opened at 51.5. Hasn't moved.
Yep.
Because I think people are waiting on the news. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get ahead of it because I think the number comes in, the weather's going to be bad, and people are going to jump on the under where the weather goes bad.
Okay. I think you can wait.
Penn State might win the game 38-10. But I think that the most likely score is 28-20 Penn State.
Efforting to get some people from the great state of West Virginia or former or Mountaineers that we know on the show either tomorrow or on Roll Call Friday. Stay tuned.
Oh, hi. And then I am betting the Tour Championship. I got a bunch of plays, but I'll just give you this one.
What?
Oberg, top 5, plus 175. He starts in the 5th position right now.
5th position. Okay.
He's at 5 under. Leader is, because I do it. It's 10 under for Scotty, 8 under for Rory, and it goes down from there. He's 5th at 5 under. He should have won the thing.
Maintain his position, basically.
We should have won the damn tournament last weekend, but he got all messed up.
Yeah, at the end.
With all the altitude, he flew the green like 7 times.
Right.
Like he just didn't. He was too jacked up. He was excited, and he lost all control because of the air in Colorado. I think he dials it back. I think he's got a shot to win this thing. I think he'll be in contention. I don't mind a bet on him to win it, but I'm just going to go with a plus money top 5 bet.
Makes sense. That's probably a good play. Has he ever played this course before?
I know this. Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, as long as he's played this course before, yes, it's a bet.
Let me see something here because you're going to make me look this up because I had it last night when I was doing the juice.
That's fine.
And let's see, Oberg. Let's see. So Oberg, he finished 2nd at the BMW last week. Nope, it's his first time playing it. But he has last 5 appearances, 2 top 5s in his last 5 tournaments. And a guy who is currently, he's gone 2nd last week at the BMW, who could have won it, playing the hot hand. Top 5, not to win it, but top 5. But yes, this is the first time playing East Lake for him in the last 5 years.
That's a little unnerving. But I think you have as good a shot as any. I'd prefer the top 5 bet than doing that other thing.
Favorite thing about today is what?
Stacked show. Alex Kane, Matty Lindeman. Just, the ability to move up the show, still be in control of the show, do the show, reach out to dear friends and say, hey, do you want to come on the show? They both immediately, yes, I can't wait. Alex is in the side of a road in Atlantic City, stopped in a car, taking a picture of a sign. Lindeman's got Rafi and Benny running around behind them, taking care of the cats, made a lunch date. I don't want. All right, Will, I ain't gonna make you work, Will. I effing love doing the show.
By the way, the Cubs had a 3-1 lead. They blew it. It's 6-3 Pirates.
I'm going crazy watching in the background. I mean, they got the guy out in center field. He don't even know where to throw the ball sometimes. I mean, he's talking to the outfield coaches in between. Skeens is not going to get the K prop most likely, but the Pirates are winning 6-3. That's good. I'm enjoying the end of baseball season this week for the Pirates.
Favorite thing about today is it's 11 o'clock Pacific and we're done with the show.
Done.
It's amazing.
Finish.
Amazing.
Bang. In the can.
Thanks
for being here.
Thank you for being here, guys. We appreciate it. I know a lot of you guys are going to watch this on replay, so put your comments on the YouTube channel. On the YouTube, we often see it. We comment. We respond to it, so I appreciate you guys who do that. I know it's a different time. Many of you guys probably showing up going, wait, the show is over? The show should be starting. Show's over today early, but tomorrow we are back with college football.
We're back.
Game 1, week 1 begins tomorrow with college football. Full breakdown on tomorrow's BVB. He's Dave. I'm Matt. Thank you for being here. Thank you for Sports Grid Replay and Sirius XM. You guys are great. We appreciate you. Everybody live in the chat on YouTube and Twitter. We appreciate you guys as well. See you tomorrow for a Thursday's BVB.